So with travel, I know you've been pretty much everywhere, which I've
been a lot of places,
jealous.
not everywhere, but
it feels like everywhere.
I've been to a few.
Is there anywhere left still that you really want to go to?
Yeah, so like my dream literally is Japan. Like
Really?
Japan and Korea. Like if I can do a wedding, couples out there, people that want to get married in Japan or Korea, let me know, please, because it's like my dream. I'm like being into anime and like super nerdy in K-pop and all that stuff, and like honestly, anywhere in Asia would like I would die. Like literally, that's my dream.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Iceland. Any couples in Iceland?
Any couples in
Let
Iceland?
me know. Because
it's like we're doing all those advertising.
I know, right?
So
like this is just one big advertisement.
Yeah.
Subliminal messaging.
Exactly. But yeah, honestly, like I've been all over Europe and stuff, and I have opportunities to go to other places. But recently, like honestly, Italy has been the dream. And honestly, like I'm already looking to go back, like to find another way to have another wedding there, and hopefully I get more. I need to share more of those photos. I haven't even started yet, but
just on your story, I was like looking at like
it's
you're like
insane.
panning these cities, and I'm
gosh.
like, oh my gosh.
It was like the best thing, and honestly, people are the nicest. Not that people here don't, but like it's like a whole different thing. It's like a family feel, which is really strange to me. The floor stays.
Oh, really?
Literally the whole night. The floor stays the whole night. Everyone sits down together. You have conversations, and I can't speak Italian, but they were all speaking Italian, and we're all trying to communicate. And the videographer was from London.
Oh, that's so
cool. And literally, like, we're all trying to communicate together, but it's like it's this nice camaraderie of like people working together, and there was a complete like language barrier. We couldn't understand one thing. But it was like
you just felt that vibe.
You felt the vibe, and you felt loved. Like you felt like you mattered. And like even France, like France is one of my favorite, and also my family lives there, so I loved it.
That's where you're from, right?
That's where I'm from. Yeah, I was where I was born. Yeah, I tell myself like I'm like like dual, so I'm like French, but grew up in Arizona and stuff like that. But that's one of my favorite places. London is one of my favorite. Also, I really like London. I don't know, most people like dog on it, but honestly I think it's amazing.
It's so pretty.
It is really pretty. But honestly, like the weddings are there really different as well. So like it's what's currently interesting is every country does things differently, and you have to like kind of work with that, and it's so interesting. And like you have to kind of understand like like traditions are different and all that good stuff, but man, I wouldn't trade it. That's why I do what I do. It's
exactly.
Traveling,
you get all those experiences.
It's the best thing. It's the best thing, and it makes you better as a photographer because you get to work with other types of people. And also, like the last wedding I had, like half of the family can speak English.
Oh man.
Or Italian.
That'd be so stressful.
It was literally like Spanish speakers in an Italian country where everybody spoke Italian, and then you in English.
Yeah.
So like 3 languages trying to mix them all together. It was insane, but we made
lots
it work.
Lots of hand signals.
It's hands all day.
So with that many weddings under your belt, I'm sure you've seen a lot of different unique ideas and different things. Yeah. And like people incorporate, especially out of the country. What's some of your favorite like unique ideas you've seen at weddings?
Oh my gosh. That's a hard question. And it's almost like every wedding's like it's so different. I think the best one was like sparkler exit, like they wanted to do a sparkler, an exit, but then they found out like the venue can't do sparklers, and then I was like, well, pull out your phones. I don't know if you ever tried that before, but it's really cool. So I have everyone pull out their phones, and it's like a concert. It's the coolest thing. But as far as like ceremony, like I've seen a bunch of different things, like puzzles, tying the knot, like literally. My
favorite ceremony thing I've seen is they switched what side the bride and groom's family were on. The bride's family was on the opposite side from her, so they could see her face.
That's
instead
really cool.
of looking at her from the side.
That reminds me, I actually did a wedding in Colorado, which was really interesting. She had the bride on one side and the groom on one side, obviously, but the bride was actually facing like the bridesmaids. So the bridesmaids were standing behind the groom, and the groomsmaids were standing behind the bride. Yeah. So that way they can see each other. And it kind of makes sense because it's like if your maid of honor is your best friend or whatever, like you want to be able to see that person, right? Like see her face, see her like emotions and reactions and all that. And I was like thinking that's a really like cute idea. Yeah, that's really neat. And I love that idea.
So if you take your ceremony the way it is, keep bride's family and bridesmaids, and just switch bride and groom, then everyone can see the person they care about us.
And so I thought that was a cool idea. So that's the one thing that
one of my favorites.
But as far as ideas, no clue. But I will say, like, there are some things that I just can't think of them in this, but honestly, like, if there's any ideas that you guys ever like incorporate, like, you want, just do it, like, don't feel like you can't do it because someone tells you can't do it. Do whatever you want. And stuff like that. So, like, do you like, don't feel like you have to follow a traditional timeline or traditional wedding day. Like, if there's something that's in the wedding, like, for example, like bouquet toss, cake cutting, garter, any of those things, like, if you don't want those, don't include those. Or, like, if you want to do a ceremony a certain way, like, do it your way, because it's one of those things that, like, for one, that's what makes you unique, but also that's what makes you and, like, don't try to do stuff that, like, that's not you, I would say. And enjoy the moment, because the biggest thing I can say for a wedding, and I quote this every time, and I kind of say that's my quote, but I don't know if it is. It's very important to plan your wedding, and wedding planners are I think are a must to have to kind of help you move the day and everything. But the planning is important to do before. But on the wedding day, I always say the wedding is like a moving train. Like, once it goes, like, there's nothing you can do to stop it. So, like, whatever happens throughout the day, like, if things go wrong or things, don't go exactly the way you've imagined it, like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to keep moving because you're on a time crunch. You just have to keep moving. And so the main thing is, like, just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride on that train. And just remember why you're there. Remember, because, like, you're there to celebrate your love. You're there to spend time with family who you probably, like, never see, or like family that, like, come together just for this one moment, like, all of you guys in one spot to celebrate your love. And that's the one thing I always tell people, that it's like, that's why you're there, and that's why you hire their vendors, and that's why you pay money, like, for your vendors, and that's why you have a wedding planner, and that's why you do all this planning beforehand to minimize the craziness that'll happen on the wedding day and everything like that. But the thing is, if you hire the right team and you trust in the people that you hired, like, your photos are going to be amazing. And it's going to be even more amazing when you're not focusing on the wedding itself, on, like, if things went in the perfect way. And that's why I tell everyone, and as long as you remember that, like, you're going to have a great wedding.
And you just let it flow.
Exactly. And you let it flow. And then whatever comes out at the end of it, you'll realize, like, oh, wow, these are amazing. And you realize, oh, I stressed out for nothing. So that's my biggest tip for you guys.
My main quote that I always say is, like, if anything goes wrong on your wedding day, it's just going to end up being a funny story to tell later, because you're going to tell people, this crazy thing happened and went totally wrong and it was hilarious.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's so true too.
And then my second quote is, like, if the bride's running late and she's stressing about the timeline or whatever, I'll say, they can't do anything without you.
Yeah, exactly.
We're on bride time.
They don't. Yeah, exactly.
So your quotes are all elegant and mine are just kind of like, you'll be fine.
But it's like the same effect. It's the same effect. And the thing is, like, with us, we've done it. Like, we've done weddings, so it's like, we know. We've seen it all. About all of it. So it's like, it's one of the things, like, don't need to freak out, because we're there to kind of help you through it, and that's why you hired us. Is we've done a ton of weddings, and this is why we're here. It's like, for situations like this, like.
Like, you have someone to turn to that's got it figured out.
And definitely want to hire a photographer that is flexible, that's able to, like, understand a situation if something does happen and be able to move things around. Every couple, and it's so funny, but the last wedding I did in Savannah, Georgia, and stuff like that, it was so funny, because I'd be like, all right, well, you're done with photos, because I felt like I was done. And then he looks at me and he's like, John, you say that all the time, but it's not done. And it was true, because I would see something later on, I'd be like, hey, do you have a couple minutes to just, like, go out there and do some quick ones? And it's like, John, I told you it's like, I called it. Like, I love you, but I knew that was happening, so I don't know why you keep saying that. And I'm just like, because I want to be done, but at the same time too, it's like, I always, like, as photographers, for us, we always look for that shot. And if there's a situation or place that you're like, the lighting's perfect, the scenery is perfect. You're like, I gotta go. I gotta do it. You know, I gotta do it. I had 2
situations like that really recently. Yeah. One was like the groom hated pictures. He wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted to be done the whole time. And I kept telling him, one more and then you can party. And then, oh, wait, just this one real quick and then you can party. And it was like nonstop all day. Yeah. So when I was finally ending my day and leaving, I went to say bye to him and I said, okay, you're officially done. I am leaving, which means no more. And he was like, yes. And then he was like, wait, aw.
I know, right?
He's like, wait, no.
It's like, oh, I wish, now I'm ready for photos. Now I'm ready.
So that was a funny one. And then the one I just had last weekend, I was all packed up, walking out. And I noticed that their limo was there early.
That was cool.
And I was talking to the limo driver and he was showing off the limo and the lights and all the cool stuff. And I was like, don't move. Went back in after I had already said goodbye. And I was like, hey, your limo's here and it is so sweet. Yeah. Let's just run outside really quick and just take a couple and like just before I go. Yeah. So I ended up staying an extra like 20 minutes or something like that. But I just was like, great. I have to get this.
But it's worth it. Sometimes it's worth it.
Oh yeah. They were excited. They were like, the limo's here already? Because it was like 2 hours earlier or something like that. And they were like, oh my God, let's go.
Pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome though. So really I think it's amazing. It's never over.
It's never over. The photographer says one more like 800 times.
100 times. I'm always like, last one. One more time. One more time. Like, nope. Okay. We're going to keep going.
Yeah. It's never how it goes. I want to hear if you have any wedding photography horror stories or things that have just gone horribly wrong besides when we met.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's probably the worst that ever happened.
That was rough.
Oh, and I can actually tell you one.
Yes. Here we go.
And let me tell you this one. Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Okay. Let me tell you about this.
I'm excited.
And I can't tell them because I love them to death. Like this couple. What happened was this one of the bridesmaids brought her plus one and her
was this the wedding I was at with you?
You weren't there with me
because I had one very similar. I know exactly where this is going.
And we started doing photos and then this guy starts yelling and cussing and then the groom's getting pissed and he's just like, oh, you need to like shut up and stop talking and like be quiet, we're trying to take photos here. And that's so he's like ruining the whole vibe. And literally like we're getting all mad. And then we had to call the cops, and the cops had to send him home. And then he was telling the bridesmaids, like, oh, yeah, don't go home tonight. Like, you probably wouldn't want to go home tonight. But what we found out is, like, and I don't know if it's 100% true. It's just what I've heard through the grapevine of the wedding and stuff like that, like, throughout the night. Yeah. Was that the guy was pretty much, like, jealous that the bridesmaids was walking with another guy.
I was 100% there for this.
Oh, you know what? Maybe you were.
I 100% was.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, off the record.
Yeah. Yeah. You're there?
100%.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, okay. Because you were doing the portraits, and then we heard the yelling, and the groom was like, "Oh, I don't want to deal with this right now." And I went down, and her like necklace was broken and all this stuff, and I took her into the getting ready suite, and I was like being second shooter, like dealing with the whole situation while you're just trying to like do the portraits.
I've done so many weddings there that like, I get it all
I knew it. I was like, this sounds exactly like my story.
So maybe you were there. Maybe you were the one there.
And I talked to the cops and everything because they asked me like what I saw and what went down. And I said, well, she said she threw her keys because she didn't want him to take them from her. And her necklace was broken, so there was some sort of physical altercation. And this, I'm like, I do not get paid enough for this. I know, exactly. I'm sitting here getting interviewed by the police.
That's crazy. But that's exactly, that was probably like the craziest thing I've ever seen. And the cops, when the cops showed up, and then the fact that like, he was jealous. And I was like, why are you jealous of, and it's funny because I don't remember if it was exactly that, but he was like, it was something about like the fact that he saw her happy or smiling. Yeah, and I was like,
she walked down the aisle with one of the groomsmen.
Yeah, one of the groomsmen, and she was happy. I was like, dude, it's a wedding. Yeah. It's like everybody's happy. Like, why are you mad why are you jealous, you know? And the fact that it's like, I don't know if there was history, but the thing is like, I mean, she was with him. I mean, they were together. He brought him to the wedding. Like, why would you want to be jealous? And then start yelling and start like, and also the groom was telling him to stop, and he's like, I don't care, you know? But that's insane. I honestly, that was that's probably like the craziest thing. Wow. And you know who you are.
But
I was just saying it.
wedding.
I just know I'm only saying it because you know exactly. You were there with me and you had the same reaction. But they're amazing. I love them to death.
They were fantastic. I was so bummed I couldn't help shoot their portraits or anything because I was dealing with this whole scenario. And that's the thing as a photographer, sometimes you go the extra mile and do stuff.
Sometimes you're like that middleman that literally does everything. But it's the best. I mean, honestly, I take those moments and I look back and I'm like, I can't believe that happened. But it was like, oh, that's a story to tell.
I'm shocked that out of 460 something weddings, I was at your top horror story one.
Horror story. Yes. But I mean, the worst one was definitely the one not going to the hospital.
Yeah.
That's probably.
So I'm a bad luck charm.
I know. That's right. That's why you don't do weddings with me anymore. Exactly.
That's why you booted me.
That's right. So, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, man. But the thing is, it's like those are so far in between. Like honestly, it's so rare. Mm-hmm. So for your couples out there, it doesn't happen, barely. Yeah. So honestly,
out of 460 weddings, it took a minute to think of one.
And if it does happen, it's something that you'll always remember. Mm-hmm. And it's
laugh
crazy.
About it later, most likely.
Yeah. So it's
as long as no one gets hurt.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not bad. I love my life.
Yeah.
It's a good job.
Yeah, me too. It's a lot of fun. And like we said, we literally get to party every weekend for a living. So
I do. I wouldn't trade it. And I literally have the best time every day. I when I go to a wedding, I always think pinch myself because it's a dream. Mm-hmm. But the main thing is to be able to kind of have the couples look at your photos and literally see their reaction, or even the biggest thing when people tell me they cried looking at it, and I'm just wow, I can't believe that my work actually made someone emotional and stuff like that. So, and that means a lot.
I love most about weddings. My work really means something.
Exactly.
See, I love when people come up to me, especially at the reception, and they say something like, oh, you're so awesome. Oh, you're doing a great job. And you're doing such a great job. And in my head, I'm always thinking, how do you know?
I know. How do you know? How do you know you're doing it?
I haven't taken my camera died 6 hours ago. I know.
Exactly. Exactly. I know. I'm the same way. So how do you know?
Some really, really great advice.
Yeah.
I love it. Always good stuff from him.
I know. No, I like talking to you too. So it's always a good time.
It's been a while. It's got a lot to catch up on. So
yeah, for sure. Good. So yeah, probably not the last time.
Yeah, no. We'll have Jonathan on again for sure. And I've already taken 2 hours of his busy life. This episode won't be 2 hours, but
it's a nice little break and everything. But or you can cut it in 2 parts.
Yeah. I'll do 2 parts again probably.
Yeah. Like I said, you're doing something good here. So
thank you. I try.
If there's anything I can do to help, let me know.
We'll be chatting with Kristen. We'll get her on, and hopefully we'll get Jonathan
tell her
back
I
on
say
again
hi,
soon. Yeah.
For sure.
Do you have a message you'd like to give her?
Just tell her I miss her. Yeah. Tell her it's been a long time since we've seen each other and worked with her and stuff. And
we need to all 3 get together sometime.
That'd be cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, guys. We'll see you in episode 3. See you later.
See you later.